welcome to a new video and a new ship tour, and today we're going to take a look at the Mein Schiff Herz, a currently German cruise ship operated by TUI Cruises. And as always, we will start with some general characteristics. The ship is 264 meters long, 32 meters wide, was built in 1997 and can take up to 1,900 passengers, and it is currently sailing for TUI Cruises, the German branch of the TUI company. It was built for Celebrity Cruises as the Mercury, later renamed Celebrity Mercury, and then it was transferred to TUI Cruises in 2011 and renamed again to Mein Schiff 2. It was planned to transfer the ship to the Marella Cruises in 2019, but this was cancelled and the ship was renamed to Mein Schiff Herz and continued to stay in the fleet of TUI Cruises until 2023, so this year. And on April 16, it will have its last day as Mein Schiff Herz, and after that it will become the new Marella Voyager. So it will move on to the Marella fleet, another company part of the TUI group, but on the British market, as you probably know. And there she already has two sister ships, the Marella Explorer and Explorer 2. And before we start our ship tour, there's one thing that is really important to mention. I will show you the ship in the state of the Mein Schiff Herz. This is not what the ship will look like as Marella Voyager. It will get refurbished. So what you're gonna see here is how the ship looked before it will be the Marella Voyager. This is the state as the Mein Schiff Herz. It will look completely different when it is the Marella Voyager, and in this video I will show you how it is looking currently as Mein Schiff Herz, and I will also explain what will change on board. We started on deck 3, there is just the exit, and on deck 4 is only the hospital, so we can go on to deck number 5, and here we have the reception area. On the left side we currently have a small area that is not used too much, there's just some seating. As Marella Voyager, this will be destination experiences, and this is the place to book your shore excursions. And here on deck 5 we also have the reception and the atrium. This will stay the same on the Marella Voyager, and we have one restaurant which is now the La Spezia, which is a specialty restaurant, so you need to pay extra, and it is currently an Italian restaurant. And soon it will be the Silver Fork, which will also be a specialty restaurant with a surcharge, and it will serve British food with a modern twist. And that's already it for deck number 5, so we can go up to deck number 6. Here we can have another look into the atrium, and now we're going one deck up to deck number 6, which is currently called the Atlantic deck. And this is and will be one of the main passenger decks with a lot of public areas, and here in the atrium we have the TUI bar. This is the central bar on board, and so it is the most important one. It's very modern, adapted to the style of the newer ships of TUI Cruises, designed in the company colors of blue and white. We will see it later on again. We're now heading to the back of the ship, and here we'll go through the photo gallery, which is already very modern, so there are no printed photos. You can just buy them on the screen, and they will only get printed if you buy them. Behind that is the area where you can get some information about the shore excursions and also book them. It's a very modern and spacious area, as TUI Cruises offers a lot of shore excursions, also active shore excursions like hikes and biking tours. So this was taking a bit more space than on other ships. And next to it is an area called Meerleben, and this is a lounge and a library. On the Marella Voyager, this will be a bar. It will be the Arts House, which is an art-themed bar that is taking the space of Meerleben and the shore excursion area. So this will be completely transferred and get a new purpose. Here we have the Blaue Welt bar and a lounge. It's not used that much, it's just a seating area. The actual bar is one deck below. And here we have like a second atrium over 3 decks. And we will come back to it later on. But first let's take a look at the restaurant Atlantic Classic, which is the main restaurant on the ship, and it stretches over 2 decks and is very beautiful with a big panoramic window with a beautiful view over the stern wave. And on the Mein Schiff Herz it is used as one big restaurant. Only in the morning the lower deck has a buffet and the upper deck has a la carte breakfast. But otherwise it's the same restaurant on both decks. And this will also stay the same on the Marella Voyager. It will become the Latitude 53 restaurant, with the only difference that one part of it will become the Vista, which is a restaurant in the restaurant, and it will be only open in the evenings and serve Italian food. And now we're back at the Blaue Welt bar. And now we're going back down to deck number 5, and this is the only access to this bar. So there's no access from deck 5. You always need to go here via deck 6. And here we have the actual bar, and it is quite hidden. There are no windows, and as I said, you can only reach it from deck number 6. So it's a very unusual location for a bar. But it is meant to be an apéro bar, so here you can have a pre-dinner drink. For example, if you have to wait until the restaurant doors open, you can sit here comfortably and enjoy a drink before the dinner. And it will have the same use on the Marella Voyager. It will become the bar Flutes, where you can have a glass of champagne or prosecco. And now we're going back up to deck number 6 and going all the way to the front of the ship, looking at a few more public areas we haven't seen yet. And once again I want to mention this, what you're seeing here is the current state as Mein Schiff Herz, and all of these areas will look completely different, more modern and in a complete different style when the ship will be the Marella Voyager. So in case you found this video by searching for information about the Marella Voyager, please bear in mind that what you see here in this video looks completely different than what the Marella Voyager will look like. Currently on the Mein Schiff Herz we have on the left side the so-called Atelier, which is an art area where you can, for example, learn how to draw and similar creative things. And here we can see one more time the shore excursion area, and as I said, all of this will become the Arts House, so this will all be a bar on the Marella Voyager. Here, that's something I really enjoyed, is an area where you can play Xbox. There are 4 different screens where you can play different games included in the fare. And we keep going to the front. We are now in staircase B. We have 3 main staircases on the ship. This is the one in the middle. And here we are back in the TUI bar. Now on the Mein Schiff Herz, this is the most important bar and the lounge on board. On the Marella Voyager, it will be not the most important one. It will become the coffee port. So here you will get some coffee and cake. But nowadays on the Mein Schiff Herz, this is the most important lounge on board, with a bar open from early morning till late evening, and therefore it can get a bit crowded. And it is also the most modern looking lounge, but it has one downside, and that is the tables. They are looking very modern, but they are not very useful as there's no place for your legs, so you always need to sit sidely next to the table. It's a bit weird. And here on the right side we have the cruise manager's office and the conference room. And those areas will be the cruise holiday store, the gamer zone and the cinema on the Marella Voyager. Here we have on the right side an internet station, as this is the oldest ship of the TUI Cruises fleet currently. It is still having an internet station, so if you booked internet, you can not only use it on your phone or laptop, you can also use these computers here. And this is the theater where most of the evening program will take place. Obviously it's also used as a theater on the Marella Voyager, but it will be renamed and it will be the Broadway Show Lounge. And then there's one more thing on this deck number 6, and it's the promenade, so let's head out to the promenade. As I said, this ship was built in 1997, so it's a rather old ship, and this has a few advantages, because old ships are still fitted with a wooden promenade with real wood. Nowadays there's just something that looks like wood, but doesn't feel at all like wood, and sometimes the promenade decks can be very slippery, but here we still have the original wooden promenade, and that's something that I really like about the old ships. They still feel like a real ship. Modern ships sometimes feel just like a 5-star hotel that just happens to be on the ocean, but here on this ship you will really feel like you are traveling on a ship, and that is what I like about older ships. Now we've seen everything on deck 6, and now we're going up to deck 7, nowadays called the Hanse deck. And the promenade continues on deck 7, is going all the way around the ship to the other side and then back down to deck number 6. And we continue our tour inside the ship. Here on deck 7 we have a big lounge, and this is the Schaubar. This is the biggest bar and lounge on board the Mein Schiff Herz, situated at the aft of the ship, so it has windows to 3 different directions. You can of course look to the side, but you have also a very nice view over the stern wave from this lounge, but there is a small outdoor area between, so we will see that later on. Here you can see the design of the lounge. It is a bit more classic than the TUI bar, but also very comfortable, and it has more useful tables with place for your legs, so it's better to go to the Schaubar if you want to play some games, for example, or you have any other use for the table, not only want to put your drink there. Then I recommend using the Schaubar, but currently it only opens after lunch. In the morning, of course, the lounge is open, but the bar is still closed. And what I really like about this lounge is that there is an outdoor area. As I'm always making my ship tours very early in the morning, and the chairs were still stowed away for safety reasons. But there's one row of chairs, and you can enjoy a view over the stern wave here and get a drink from the bar. And once this ship is the Marella Voyager, it will be squid and anchor, and this will be a rather traditional British pub. There is also a stage here at the Schaubar, and this is also used for evening programs. And also when the ship will be the Marella Voyager, there will still be a stage, so this lounge can also be used for evening program. We are continuing our tour, heading to the front of the ship, and here we have the Blaue Weltbau sushi restaurant. It's just a very small restaurant with just a few tables, and it is a specialty restaurant, so you need to pay extra if you want to dine here. And also on the Marella Voyager, this will be a specialty restaurant. It will be called Platter, and it will offer food to share with cheese, meat or veggie boards and some wines. And we keep going on to the front to the next location that is not included in the fare or in the all-inclusive fare of TUI cruises. And this is Wein and Wahrheit. Here you can drink some wines. They have a wide selection of wines, and in my opinion this is one of the most beautiful looking areas on the ship, but as I said, it's not included, so you need to pay extra. And right next to it is the Surf and Turf Steakhouse, also a specialty restaurant where you need to pay extra if you want to dine here, and you also need to make a reservation. And this is one of the very few areas that will keep the purpose and the name on the Marella Voyager, so also when the ship is refurbished and transferred to Marella Cruises, this will still be the Surf and Turf Steakhouse. There used to be the Dinnerzimmer, which is a separate and was used as a part of the Surf and Turf Steakhouse that you can reserve for private occasions, and this will be the Corala, which is an Asian restaurant. Here we just saw the art gallery, which is selling art of famous German artists like Udo Lindenberg or Otto Walkes, and this area will be transferred into the bar called Aperitif. And here, as the name implies, you can have an aperitif before heading to the restaurant. And now we are at the so-called Neuer Wall, which is the shopping area of the Mein Schiff Herz with different stores located in front of the atrium. For example, we have Mein Stil, which is a men's fashion store, and we have Mein Genuss, which is a store for souvenirs, alcohol and tobacco. Here we can see how the shop is looking on the inside. You can also buy some toys for children. And here on the right side, the area is currently not used. There's just a very small Swarovski store here on the right side. And this will become the photo gallery on the Marella Voyager. All other areas will still be some shops on board. Here we have Meine Freude, where you can buy some accessories and jewelry. And on the other side, obviously, we also have a store for women's fashion, which is called Mein Lieblingsstück. And here, once again, you can see the Swarovski store. So all the stores on the side will stay. These will be called the Broad Street shops, but the part in the middle will become the photo gallery. And here we can take a look into the women's fashion store. And it's quite nice to see that both stores for men and for women have the same size. And then we have another store, and this is called Meine Schönheit, and this is a perfumery. So here you can buy some beauty products and perfumes. And now we keep on going to the front of the ship, and as you can see, there's just the second entrance to the theater that stretches over 2 decks. As I already showed you the theater, we will not go there again, and instead we will now go back past the shops to the atrium, and from there we will go on to the next deck. As you can see, it is rather dark here in the staircase, and that is because I was here before 6 o'clock in the morning to avoid having too many people in the shot that I would have to blur due to legal reasons. That's why I'm always early in the morning. And here on Mein Schiff Herz they are trying to save energy, and that's why in the night not all lights are illuminated. And here we are back at the stores. Here we can see the Swarovski store one more time. Now we're going past it on the left side. As we're going against the direction of travel, this is the starboard side of the ship. And now we are back at the atrium, and now we can go up one more deck, up to deck number 8, which is called the Muschel deck on the Mein Schiff Herz. So this is the highest deck of the atrium, and there is another hidden bar that is not too easy to find, and it is called Unschlagbar. It is used for 3 different purposes. It is the sports bar on board, so if you want to watch a football game, you can watch it here on some screens. It is also the smoking lounge. It's the only area on board where smoking is permitted inside the ship. And it is also used as casino, as you can see here. It's a rather small casino because on German ships casinos are not very important and not very much frequented, so that's why this area is rather small. This bar will get a complete new concept. The ship will be the Marella Voyager. It will become the Exchange, and it will offer some exclusive cocktails that you won't find in the other bars of the ship, and you need to pay extra if you want to have a drink there, and you'd also need to have a reservation for this bar, so it's a very special location on the Marella Voyager. Now we will have a few decks with mostly cabins, so this is a cabin hallway that you just saw. Now we are at the back of the ship again. Here we have outdoor areas, that's also very nice, something you won't find on the newer ships. But here every deck has a small outdoor area at the back. In this case it's more or less just an outdoor staircase, but if we're going up one more deck to deck number 9, which is called the Korallen deck, you will find another public area, just a small one. For the children it is the so-called Insel der Seeräuber, which means Island of the Pirates. And it is the kids club on board. As you can see, there's a small kids pool and secured area for smaller children. And here we have a bigger outdoor area where you can enjoy the view over the stern wave, but there is no bar. If you want to have a drink and enjoy the view over the stern wave, you just need to go up 2 more decks to deck 11. now we are passing deck number 10. It's called deck Perle. On this deck there are just cabins and the bridge, and which is obviously not accessible for the passengers, so we can just straight go up to deck number 11, the aqua deck. And here we have a very big and nice outdoor bar, a very nice outdoor area. It is the Außenalster Bar and Grill. Here you just saw it during daylight when the tables are already put in place. For the night, of course, for safety reasons, they're stowed away. And this bar is very interesting as you can sit outside or inside, you can choose. But if the weather is very nice, also the inside part will become an outdoor bar, as this is a sliding glass roof and it can be removed if the weather permits and it's nice outside. For example, if you're sailing in the Mediterranean Sea, you will have just a bigger outdoor bar. Obviously on the Marella Voyager, this area will keep the retractable roof and will also be used as a bar. Port side and starboard side of it, there are two restaurants. Here on the port side we have the restaurant Gosh. Gosh is a famous German brand offering high quality seafood with several stores around Germany, and interestingly it is included in the ticket fare, so you do not have to pay extra if you want to dine here. And on the other side we have La Vela, that is a bistro that is serving pasta and pizza. Once the ship is the Marella Voyager, this will be the Abuelas offering Mexican food and the Nonnas offering pizza and Italian food. And we are continuing on to the front of the ship. We are now in staircase C. Again, here you saw how the staircase is looking when all the lights are illuminated, as it's now past 6 o'clock and we have the full illumination. All lights are now in use again. And here we have the Ankelmannsplatz, which is the buffet restaurant on board. Very interesting, it is not a mirrored buffet, so if you're traveling with the Mein Schiff Herz, make sure to take a look at both sides, otherwise you're gonna miss some food. And on the Marella Voyager it will become the kitchens, and this will be also like a buffet restaurant but with 8 different stations, 8 different eateries, so you can get a lot of different styles of food there. And we are now on the pool deck. Obviously we have 2 big pools here, and we have also some whirlpools that are also a very decent size. And here on the starboard side we have one of my favorite areas of the ship, and that is the Cliff 24 grill. And this grill is living up to its name because it is open 24 hours a day, something that you are not seeing on many ships of this size. So even if you wake up hungry at 3 in the night, you can go up here and get a very tasty and nice burger without any problems. And on the Marella Voyager this will be the snack shack. Also a small dining area, but I'm not sure if it will be open 24 hours. Couldn't find any information about that, but I think this will not be open 24 hours a day. Here on the left side we have another bar. It's called Unverzichtbar and it is the typical pool bar. And on the Marella Voyager it will just be called the pool bar, but of course keep its purpose. And now we are at the entrance to the Spa and Meer area. As the name implies, this is the spa area on board, so I cannot show it to you as it was closed, and even if it would have been open, of course I cannot go in there with my camera. So I just show you the entrance. And obviously it will also stay in the spa area on the Marella Voyager. It will be called Spa and Beauty Salon. And now we can go up one more deck to deck number 12, called Horizont deck on the Mein Schiff Herz. And here we have the gym. The gym offers very nice views. It has big panoramic windows, even a panoramic view over the bow of the ship to the front. So this is a very nice location for the gym, and it will also stay the gym on the Marella Voyager. Now we are going back to staircase A, just going to the other side of the ship to the port side and then back to the front again, because there are some more public areas. 3 areas, but I can only show you one of them, because first on the left side we have Sturmfrei. This is the lounge for kids and teens, for bigger kids and teenagers. And then on the left side again we have the so-called X Lounge, and this is the lounge only accessible for guests that have booked a suite on board. And in the middle we have the Himmel und Meer Lounge, which means Sky and Sea Lounge, and this is used as the nightclub. There is also a small area with this nice view over the bow, but unfortunately only with uncomfortable seating, so it is not the perfect place to read a book or sit there for a longer time. Once the ship is the Marella Voyager, this area will be used as the electric rooms, so it will keep its purpose as a club, but the division between the X Lounge and the Himmel und Meer Lounge will be removed, and it will be one big lounge, the electric rooms, and it will also be home to the casino on board. And you also just briefly saw the Überschaubar, which is just another outdoor pool bar, just one deck higher. And here we are now on deck 14, a deck called Brise, and here you can see the so-called Entspannungsinseln, which means relaxing islands, and you can reserve them for extra charge. For example, if you just have an inside cabin and you want to have a private balcony for a day, you can rent these Entspannungsinseln. And we can go a little bit higher from here. Even though these stairs look like they're not made for the guests, this area is perfectly fine for you to access. And this is the highest deck on board, and it offers some very nice panoramic views over the bow. Of course, it was still very dark outside, so here is a clip of it during the daylight, so you can see how it is looking during the day. This is the view you have up here, so this is a very nice area. On the Marella Voyager, this will be the veranda. They will keep these relaxation islands. They will be called veranda cabanas, and you can also rent them on the Marella Voyager. Now we are going back down to deck 12 past the pool to take a look at the public areas at the back of the ship on deck 12 and deck 14. First, let's take a look at deck number 12. There are some cabins at the rear part of deck 12, some junior suites and veranda cabins, and also a few inside cabins. So we will just quickly hop through the cabin hallway here on deck 12. Now we can also see that there's more light in the cabin hallway, as all lights are now illuminated as it is past 6 o'clock. And here we have another outdoor area that we can take a look at. This whole area is a dedicated sports area on the Mein Schiff Herz, with a small area called Grüne Oase, which is a small area with grass, which can be used for different kinds of sports. And on the other side we have a sport outdoor area, which is a big place with a net around it. So here, for example, you can play some football without being worried that the ball is falling into the sea. And that's it for deck number 12 in the back. We are now going back through the cabin hallway, and from here we can access deck 14. Usually you can also access deck 14 from the sports area, but there it was closed today. There was only this stairs open that I just used. So here we have deck number 14 again on the rear part of the ship at the aft, and this is used as a big sun deck. And here you can see those poles, and there are some hammocks during the day that you can use free of charge. And here we can take a final look at the very nice TUI funnel of the beautiful Mein Schiff Herz. All of these areas that I just showed you will have more or less the same use on the Marella Voyager, just that the Grüne Oase will be transferred into a mini golf course. That's it for this video, and once again I really want to make sure everybody understood this. This video is showing you the Mein Schiff Herz. I just wanted to explain what these areas will be used for on the Marella Voyager, but everything you saw is the state of the ship as the Mein Schiff Herz, and all of those areas will look completely different once the ship is transferred into the Marella Voyager. If you want to know how the Voyager will look like, you might want to take a look at maybe some videos or pictures of the Marella Explorer and Explorer 2. as those are sister ships, and this will give you a better impression of what the Marella Voyager will look like. I hope this video was interesting for you. Maybe if you're planning on making a cruise on the Marella Voyager, it is maybe very interesting to see how the ship looked before it was refurbished. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider to comment, like, subscribe or share video link, and I hope to see you in my next video. And of course you can also see when the next video will be uploaded. This will be my first vlog from on board the Mein Schiff Herz, one of its last cruises for the German TUI Cruises, so make sure to not miss it. Thanks for watching again, and I hope to see you in my next video.